It's the Weekly Wrap with your host, broadcasting legend Bruce Wolf, and his trusty sidekick, comedian Tim Slagle. And now, without further ado, Bruce Wolf.
Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. And now it's time for my favorite part of the show, wherein I guess what's in Tim's background. And I'm going to say, Tim, I think you've got the bridesmaid's dress that you're going to be wearing down the Super Bowl halftime runway with the bride, Bad Bunny, coming up on this Sunday on NBC. Am I right about that?
No, you're not. We're going to do it. We're going to do it a little backwards this week, Bruce.
Okay.
I'm going to show it to you.
All right.
And see if you can guess what it is.
All right. That's good.
How's that for fun?
So somebody with a guitar, and I would immediately guess it was a Landman reference, but it doesn't look like that.
No. The guitar says this machine kills fascists, if that makes it any easier.
Kid Rock? No. Who is it? Who is that?
That would be Woody Guthrie.
Woody Guthrie. And what?
Well, he's in Africa right now.
Woody Guthrie
in Africa, playing out on the savannah.
Oh, really? Okay. All right.
Directly from the A block notes I got.
Okay.
It's a Savannah Guthrie.
Oh my God. Oh, okay. Man, you'd think that I would, I like doing crossword puzzles. You think I would have gotten that. That's beautiful. Oh, I love it. That's the best background ever. Because I'm going into, okay, I know like all 900 verses of Alice's Restaurant, Arlo's Thanksgiving treat, but I didn't. But okay, there we go. Now the difficulty is we got to be leery about talking about Savannah Guthrie because who knows what's going on with that and what will happen.
Yeah, we might have to do another special report
like we did last week when we
with
had
our lemon update.
Yeah, so Savannah's mother, Nancy Guthrie, is still missing. FBI offers $50,000 reward. I saw one guy commenting on that on Twitter saying, "Do you realize Savannah Guthrie makes $8 million a year and has $40 million in the bank?" And I was thinking $8 million sounded a little low to me for the host of the Today Show.
Yeah, that's like a year.
Yeah, so
maybe she buys. Maybe she.
No,
buys
I think a Today Show host makes more than that.
Yeah, but she could if she spends it all in a year.
Yeah, but I don't know why I've all of a sudden gotten sensitive about this. I'm like it's a no joke zone for me, even though I wanted to say things like, "Did you see that special where they showed the guy scaling the tower in Taiwan on Netflix live, and you could barely look at it?" I was thinking that Netflix could figure out how to make bank on something, or Peacock, actually, which is the NBC streaming service, could, have round the clock, round the Peacock coverage on this. But it's just, I don't know, for some reason, I don't know, maybe it was just looking at Savannah Guthrie sitting there in blue jeans, no makeup, and reading this note about her mother, who's not on medication, and getting her meds. And come on, Tim, you and I must know that we can't go without our meds for too long.
Not too long.
Yeah,
about 24 hours.
It's just a horrible story. And of course, I'm afraid that this will come out and that there'll be some kind of disastrous consequence that, will.
Well, I couldn't joke about it either, Bruce. So yeah. I resorted to a stupid pun.
Yeah, there you go. But of course, then you led me down this cul-de-sac. So, all right, let's move on from. I actually.
I'm curious. There's a $50,000 reward. How much are they asking for ransom yet?
We don't. I saw a TMZ thing. And again, this could all be moot by the time anybody sees this. But, I saw the TMZ guy and his compatriot, Pancho or whoever it is, talking or Tonto, one or the other. Excuse me.
Cato. It could have been Cato.
Yeah, talking about
Cato, Pancho, or Tonto.
Robin, because they were talking about a second note, and it sounded like they already knew who it was, but I don't. It's all speculation right now, and it's just. I mean, it's got to be the sickest thing in the world. Absolutely the sickest thing.
But the reward has to be outside the ransom, wouldn't? I mean, otherwise.
Oh no, yeah, right. It certainly is.
You gotta. I mean, you've got to offer more. If you offer more than the ransom, you might be able to get an accomplice to turn the guy in.
Oh well, I didn't. I haven't thought through Tim's backgrounds today. I haven't thought through ransom notes. I'm really slow on the uptake this afternoon putting the show together. Anyway, hope everything will have turned out well in that one. And let's turn to something a more lighthearted. I see on our rundown it's Epstein.
Yeah, nothing in Block A is more lighthearted, is it?
I mean, isn't anything going on? I mean,
what was enlightening for me was the Bill Gates email, because he said, of course, that he got an STD from one of his Russian women.
Okay.
One of Epstein's Russian women, which, the impression was it was all underage girls on the island. There were also Russian hookers, slightly used, slightly damaged, but there were Russian hookers. So I mean, theoretically, you could have been a guest on Epstein Island, could have participated in the orgy, and not been a pedophile or done anything illegal. Because I don't know.
All I can tell you is that I don't know what the next season of White Lotus is going to be about, but if it isn't this, it's going to be depressing. I mean, it's got to be this. Everybody, every celebrity who's ever existed is somehow, got the cooties of Epstein. Larry Summers, the former president of Harvard, a busy guy, was communicating with him.
Well, I just heard this you might not know who this is, Bruce. I think Chris does. Is that somebody said that Bobby Slayton appeared in his
I do know who Bobby Slayton is.
Yeah, apparently just a rumor. Okay. I have not substantiated, but Bobby Slayton actually turned up in the Epstein files. So apparently Epstein booked comics on the island too.
There's something there. I mean, well, the guy obviously was killed by Hillary Clinton in jail. I mean, we know that, but some guy, an accountant, I guess, gave him something like $140 million. I forgot what the figure was, for supposedly saving Epstein some money, which people have estimated would have had to have been like a $1 billion savings. It wasn't. It was obviously some kind of payoff to keep, because there was compromat there. But sure. Anyway, no, the news angle is, and of course me, is so gullible about what I see on Twitter. There was a picture, probably AI'd, of Mamdani's mother with Epstein, right? So the question was, if Mamdani was actually Epstein's son, we could put that one to rest, probably, right?
I like that one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Like Ted Cruz, like Ted Cruz's dad,
sure,
knowing
killed
Kennedy. Yeah, I like that. I like conspiracies that are so ridiculous that no one should believe them.
I guess. Here's what I would do in my Epstein fantasy league. I trade you, and then we're showing pictures of Mamdani and Epstein. Obviously, look, they both have a nose, they both have a mouth, and a chin. Obviously, Homo sapiens. So, I would trade you.
You can't say that he's a Homo sapien. He's married.
Okay. That used to be the cover anyway. So I would give you a Trump pedophilia conviction, okay, in exchange for Mamdani being Epstein's son. If we're in our little trading card league here.
Sure. Well, actually, the other conspiracy is that That's where Melania came from. Apparently, it was an Epstein hookup.
Oh,
I don't know if you heard that one or not.
Have not heard that one either.
Yeah.
I'm just not up on things. Hey, the latest big news, I guess, is that Trump basically turned tail on this whole immigration thing, right? Now they're just going to go against the worst of the worst in the cities that welcome.
Now, was that really
ICE.
turning tail, or was that the plan all along?
Just to let them stew in their own juices, right? In the blue cities. Am I right? What's the exact plan right now? Because I don't think Homan and Trump were on the same page initially on this.
No, I understand. I understand they were. I understand that this was the plan all along. It's send ICE in, create havoc, create so much havoc that they'll revoke their sanctuary city status. That was the plan all along.
Are the blue cities going to do that?
Well, that's what Minneapolis is doing. Is that apparently I just heard this today, is that Trump had a meeting with like the CEO of Pillsbury, Best Buy, Target, et al, and said, you got to stop this. And those are like the big
Wait a minute. Is Pillsbury bringing back Aunt Jemima or no? No. Okay. It's
so that they put the pressure on Walz and Fry to drop the sanctuary city status, at least in practice, if not stated publicly.
All right. Well, we'll see how it comes out in the wash. It does seem like the administration has seen the pictures, seen the polls, and is turning tail. But maybe it'll come out differently. I know Laura Ingraham will put the proper spin on it. So I'm looking forward to that. All right, coming back, more Woody Guthrie hits and the Washington Post. Oh, let us cry for the Washington Post. Bruce Wolf and Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention. So did they got they released the names of the two police federales who shot Alex Preddy, their Border Patrol agent Jesus Ochoa and Customs and Border Protection Officer Raimundo Gutierrez. That had to be a disappointment to the liberal community, I would think. I mean, they sound even more Hispanic than George Zimmerman, if you recall. A little trivia question there. Who's George Zimmerman?
It's a George Zimmerman. I think what happened there is that essentially as some Soros organization was going through police files, hoping they could find a black kid that was shot by a white person. And when they saw that he was shot by George Zimmerman, who lived in a gated community, that they assumed.
Of course.
They said, this is beautiful. We can redo Crown Heights.
But he was a white Hispanic, so I mean, he didn't count for some
with
reason.
A Jewish name.
Yeah.
Well, that's where the idea of white Hispanic came from, because once they publicized it, they said, he's Hispanic. Yeah. Oh, geez. Oh,
by the way,
we already alerted the media on that.
Those of you who don't remember your, racial injustice history, we're talking about the Trayvon Martin killing, in which Barack Obama did not add any fuel to the fire when he said, if I had a son, he would look like Trayvon Martin. That did nothing. That didn't cause any problems. Okay. So I see that Chris put in the rundown to revisit Don Lemon. Now, a lot of you, I'm sure, know you were immediately tuned in last Friday when we did an emergency podcast, a brief mini pod about Don Lemon, and we pretty much exhausted it, except for, just a couple of things. Well, for one thing, here's one from the Tennessee Holler, a tweet of Jane Fonda. I know Don Lemon. My husband created CNN, and I will fight for their right to speak. They arrested the wrong Don. Oh, man.
She didn't say X. She said no X.
Well, Ted Turner was, I'll never forget seeing I mean, here's Jane Fonda, formerly married to Tom Hayden. There's the radical. And she decides, you know what? I'm just like a typical chick who wants to marry the rich guy, the power guy. And that's why she goes for Ted Turner. And she's sitting there in Atlanta, Fulton County Stadium, and doing the tomahawk chop, which I love.
I remember that.
Which would be a good lead in if we were talking right now, but we're not scheduled to, about what's happening in Fulton County. But we'll get to that.
And the weird thing was when she was doing the tomahawk chop, you did it with no reservations whatsoever.
Hi-yo. I may not have gotten the Woody Guthrie thing, but I know my. All right. So here's what I think is going to happen with Don Lemon. I think when it all gets settled by the Supreme Court, it's going to come down to defining journalism the same way Justice Potter Stewart defined pornography. I know it when I see it. And I think, we have to listen to the measured words of a Stephen A. Smith. Okay. Yeah, we don't have to play anything that he said. But he went off on the whole Don Lemon thing. I think he came down on Don Lemon's side. But I just want to say, to borrow from the most interesting man in the world, and welcome back to him, I don't often listen to Stephen A. Smith, but when I do, I take comfort in the fact that even though he makes gazillions, he can be an idiot who's just smart enough to be loud. I'm going to wait for SCOTUS or Gene Steratore, former NFL official, to decide this one. Yeah, Stephen A. Smith said, if you support what happened to Don Lemon, you don't support the First Amendment. Okay. I just like to sit there across from Stephen Smith, okay, and say, Stephen, let me ask you this. If the state of Illinois wanted to prohibit free speech, would it be prohibited would it be barred from doing that by the First Amendment to the Constitution? And he'd say, well, yes, and what? And I go, well, First Amendment says that Congress shall not prohibit free speech. It doesn't say anything about the states. Well, okay, go sit down. It happens that as you know, Tim, that the Bill of Rights have been incorporated by the 14th Amendment and do imply.
Sure. No,
states.
I'm aware.
But I don't know that Stephen Smith knows that. And I think he could be. But, I love when I get lectured.
But isn't it also, doesn't it, if it applies, shouldn't legislatures shall pass no law? State legislature should pass no law.
Does it really? You don't need to
it's like the separation of church and state really doesn't mean that that isn't there.
You don't need to change the First Amendment because the court has already decided, the Supreme Court of the United States decided that the 14th Amendment applies. Well, the 14th Amendment is about the states. It's no state shall deny any blah, 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 blah without due process of law, and said that the Bill of Rights was incorporated into the 14th Amendment. So you don't have to change the language of the Bill of Rights. Now, let us move ahead to Fulton County, the aforesaid Fulton County, because we are committed, even more than talking about Don Lemon, we are committed to rehashing the 2020 election. I don't know if you guys saw it. I tried to send you the link to the story that was in the Dispatch. You know how I don't like to read anything more than a tweet, but I actually read this article, this essay, had to be 15, 20 paragraphs, and I got a headache, and I didn't understand it exactly, but it basically argued that all this foofara, this kerfuffle, that, the Bannon types, and you know who you are, Chris, and Tim, are making a hill of beans over the supposed problems with the 2020 election that resurfaced with what was it called, the zero tape.
Okay. Basically, I read it. Is basically they said that you have to make sure that all the machines are zeroed out, and then they print out a tape to verify that they have been zeroed out, and then the poll watcher signs the zero tape.
Right, and the people, not all the poll watchers did it. And so, therefore, the election should be thrown out. I mean, that's what it comes down to, right?
Not necessarily. It means that is there evidence that the machines are zeroed out? I mean, I would have to look at those tapes. Did they just have one machine print out like 24 tapes? and then had votes already registered in many of the other machines? I mean, that is indeed possible, isn't it?
Well, I will.
And if you would not sign those tapes, that means you kind of knew that you didn't want to put your name on.
No, I don't think that's what happened. I think you look for nefarious answers to just simple incompetence.
Did you see the recently resurfaced video of Brad Raffensperger the day after the election went on the Today Show, and Trump was up by 100
with Savannah Guthrie.
Yeah, way to tie that in. And said there's only about 100,000 votes left, and Trump was up by 94,000 votes at that time. So he said at that point it was impossible. Then all of a sudden there was the additional 176,000 votes on top of that were found after the case.
Okay, well, this doesn't have anything to do.
Well, that's with the 176,000 that were. Those are that's back to also the mail-in ballots that are not folded and were not in envelopes that were seen by the poll watch.
Yeah, there's other things, but you're kind of getting off topic. We're talking about the 315,000
zero tape issue, which I thought is the thing that we're dealing with. Fulton County had. I'm just reading from the article written in the Dispatch. Fulton County had scanned test ballots from a previous election, or if the county had double counted certain ballots, the recount would have revealed those discrepancies, but no such discrepancies surfaced. So they did have the recount. And this guy
wait, stop.
Let me just finish with his conclusion, and then you can have the floor. Okay. Somehow, he says, I don't think the answer to human error is to task humans in future elections with counting hundreds of millions of ovals marked on ballots. All right, your floor.
They now go back and they say no, the recounts did not match. That's what they're admitting now. They're saying, yeah, we had to inject a certain, I think 6,000, is that right, Chris? Votes into there to get the recounts to match, the recount to match.
Let me ask you this. I mean, is this just something that, is the Washington Post without any staff? Are they the ones that are squelching this story from surfacing? Because it's not getting any traction anywhere.
No one wants to cover it.
Okay, I mean, it's just like
after they embarrassed themselves with saying the Hunter laptop was Russian disinformation. How many mainstream media went back and said
enough? There was that one did get traction, and they were embarrassed, and the New York Post won on that. Ultimately, they didn't win during the election. No, that's for sure. They didn't win, but that one did get traction. You know me; I'm the everyman. I'm the one who doesn't catch the Woody Guthrie reference. I'm the one. Yeah, go ahead.
This one's a little bigger. This one's bigger because not only do they have to admit that they kind of reported wrong on the results of the election, they have to admit that they were wrong on the protesters. They admit that they were wrong on Trump's trying to steal the election. I mean, there's a whole cascading issues that stem from the fact.
Look, and if you pull the right thread, all that will follow. I just, I'm just the guy who sits there and says,
"That's not the thread."
Somebody besides you, Chris, Bannon, has got to be able to say, maybe your sister's got to be the one to do it. I don't know, but somebody's got to do that.
My sister won't.
I know that. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. Should mention that the Washington Post is still in existence, I guess. But somebody wrote that Jeff Bezos basically gave the newsroom a blank check for over a decade, and now they're complaining about him for having done that, I guess.
For the blank check, or the 1/3 of the workforce laid off.
Well, the blank check didn't know how to manage. Sally Jenkins, I guess she's the former sports writer. I'm not sure, but she was complaining. the New York Times has 15 million subscribers, and the Washington Post beat the New York Times on so many stories. Somebody who knows how to manage a newspaper should buy that newspaper. Well, or they should bid for Wordle, is what they should do. I mean, come on. The conceit. They think, oh, we beat them on the we found out who was going to be the new Undersecretary of Agriculture before the New York Times did. If they covered and I'll grant you this. The Washington Post was all over the Roy Moore story. Remember that one a number of years ago? It was actually Sean Hannity's finest moment. He basically took the de facto deposition of Roy Moore and got the guy to concede that he was hanging around little girls too much, but and that ended it. But it was actually Sean Hannity, as dense as he can be, just asking one logical question after another. And the Washington Post was all over that story. Okay, fine. Where was the Washington Post on the senility of Joe Biden in Washington, D.C.? You stupid asses. Don't Sally Jenkins. And then, they talk about, the Washington Post, which, Watergate, and Woodward and Bernstein, and all these great sports writers, Shirley Povich. Yes, call him Shirley. And they can't mention anybody who's done anything in the last 20 years there. Okay, it's all these dead and gone people. But
the Washington Post, first newspaper to break the Teapot Dome scandal.
Right. Oh, and yeah, Woodward and Bernstein did something, no question about it. But it was basically Congress that picked up the slack, and which they should do. They should have carried the ball. But Woodward and Bernstein's reporting was pretty much done in short order, which not to take anything away from them.
Did they really do something? I mean, weren't they just kind of printing what they were told?
Well, that's kind of what journalism is.
Yeah, but no, journalism is you go looking for it. I mean, they just dropped that. The CIA wanted to get rid of Nixon and just drop that one in their lap.
Oh, okay. Well, I see now. Why didn't you just say that at the outset there? Okay. Now we know what's going on. Meantime, I understand everybody has a sentimental attachment to newspapers. I'm still upset that I can't read Dickens's weekly installments of A Tale of Two Cities in the London Blast. He used to do that. And I think Chicago journalism, especially sports journalism, went by the boards when Bernie Lincecum left town. So I understand that.
Do you think Dickens actually wrote it as it was published, or do you think he had it all published before they started it?
There's a story. Now, it may be apocryphal. He was in an apocryphal story from an apothecary about Dickens, not Dickinson, because I wanted to mention Emily Dickinson, because you can feel bad for these guys. She didn't.
I thought you were talking Angie.
She didn't make one red cent on her poems in her lifetime. Emily Dickinson. Okay, so I don't feel sorry for the sports writers.
Imagine how rich Van Gogh would be if he lived.
What? I got to try the other ear. The
where the apocryphal story about Charles
Dickens supposedly. Thank you, Miss Court reporter, for telling me where I was. So he would stand in line and he'd hear people saying, "How's Oliver Twist going to turn out next chapter?" And he'd be thinking to himself, "I don't know yet." These things came out in weekly installments.
Sure.
And I've tried to read a lot of books in weekly or monthly or yearly installments, and it doesn't work anymore.
Well, that's the advantage of writing, because you really couldn't do that if it was a film. You know what I mean? It's like if you're talking about a series, you need the scripting and the filming and the editing, so you couldn't really say. Boy, I hope that I hope that Michelle Randolph graduates cum laude and actually write it into the script next week.
So should I get into my usual bout of self-indulgence. Do you know who Paris Schutz is? If that's even how you pronounce his name. Chris, do you know who I'm talking about?
I mean, I know because I read the tweet.
Okay, all right.
I have no
I
idea
guess
who
he's
he
the
is.
political editor of Channel 32, one of my alma maters.
That was Mike Flannery.
Well, he's not there anymore. I think Paris Schutz, who was at Channel 11 before that, took over. So
is Schutz a past tense of another verb?
I think Paris is past tense of something that happened in the Third Republic, if I'm not mistaken. But he had tweeted, and I'd really had it. He tweeted at some point a book will be written about how some of the wealthiest individuals of this time, folks who have obtained the kind of wealth that couldn't be spent in 100 lifetimes, chose obsequiousness to power over principle in the pursuit of even more wealth. I think he misspelled principle there, but that's fine. And then I responded to that because that was talking about Bezos. I responded to that by saying, I kind of like your stuff, but alas, blow me. Okay. And then he responded to that. Okay. And he said, and it was actually pretty neat. More along the lines I expect more.
So this pretty much ended any possibility that you'd ever be rehired by Channel 32, right?
I was trying to seal the deal. We're coming up on the 20th anniversary, and there might have been forgiveness at that point. So Paris says, Bruce, why the unimaginative vulgarity? I loved your stuff because you were the king of cleverness. Blow me is bottom-feeding crap for someone that has nothing productive to say. The old Bruce, uninvaded by algorithmically driven social media groupthink, could come back. And I wrote to him something like, touche, that's great. I love you. That's fun, a lot of fun. Meanwhile, Scott Simon, this is the killer. You know who Scott Simon is, right?
Sure.
NPR. He's
okay.
The big deal from NPR. He tweets out, Paris, maybe he was being demonstrative and sincere, which I'm not sure what he's saying. Like, maybe I actually wanted to
yeah
Paris perform that act.
That's what he's saying. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, I responded to Scott Simon with that I finally have arrived. Scott Simon has reacted to one of my tweets, and I'm about to support federal subsidies for public radio. And he actually liked that tweet. So nice little colloquy there between me and Scott Simon.
I'm guessing like a lot of liberals, he did not get the sarcasm in your response.
No, I think he did.
I think he said, yes, absolutely. We do need to
maybe we'll be on
funding.
Maybe we'll be on SNL Sweaty Balls podcast together. But let's not go there, as apparently I did unintentionally in writing that to Paris Schutz. So let's move on here just a second, skip ahead here. Clay Travis talking about the Grammys. Apparently the Grammys, the story was Billie Eilish. I remember I was in the car with my daughter a number of years ago, and she said she liked Billie Eilish, and I said I wasn't familiar with him. Okay, but Clay Travis said, why doesn't any celebrity who says we live on stolen land ever give their multi-million-dollar mansions back to the Native American tribes? Why do they keep living on stolen land? And then it was reported that Billie Eilish has like a $14 million home on land that the Hakawi Indians or somebody has.
Tongva. The Tongva tribe.
Yeah, exactly. I will say this. I mean, it may not have been real, but Taylor Sheridan did end Yellowstone with a give back. Yeah. So there's that. If you recall.
Yeah.
Taylor Sheridan so I think that counts. Spiritually, we have
he ended 1883 with saying, in 3 generations my people will reclaim this hunting ground.
Yeah.
And are they going to hunt on there? Nah, they're going to put up a casino. You know that they don't hunt anymore. They hunt they hunt their mailbox for their monthly check. That's what
the New York Post has a story about an 8-inch World War I artillery shell was found in somebody's butt. Okay. And you know what?
On Groundhog Day, nonetheless.
Well, the legacy media couldn't bury that one. Okay. Like they did with Hunter's laptop. Hospital evacuated after 8-inch World War I artillery shell discovered in a patient's butt. I'm thinking this could help Jalen Hurts recapture the magic of the tush push, because the Eagles were not as successful this year with that. So
was it evacuated after it was evacuated or before it was evacuated?
After it was evacuated. Hi-yo, we should end the show right there, but we still got another segment to go. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. Did you see? We got this tweet from this guy Rothmus, Chris. At one point, Hugh Grant was his own agent. He would imitate on the phone an agent's voice, and he saved tons of money by representing himself. It reminds me a little bit when, remember, Trump had this publicist named John Barron who was really fake. Well, that's quite ingenious for Hugh Grant to have done that, to have had an alter ego. As somebody who made a living off an alter ego, Chris, I really appreciate that. But he used a Scottish accent on the phone to communicate with industry professionals, saved himself an absolute fortune. Now that would have been funny if he would have gotten on the phone and he said, "Look, I've got to talk to Hugh for a second. I'll get back to you."
He probably did. But it
way,
would have been more like a lot to talk to you for a moment.
Right.
It would have been more
and
like
arguing with himself in the background.
Probably got a good price too, because I'm sure the people he was talking to are like, the Scottish are like that.
Well, yeah. So, look, I don't do it anymore as an attorney, but I mean, years ago when I was an attorney, and you'd go in and be negotiating in a pretrial, and the opposing counsel would say, "Well, I gotta call the adjuster right now," and they just went out and got a snack or went to the bathroom.
Sure.
They didn't call anybody. So
that's that great scene from Fargo. It's like, "Oh, I don't know, I gotta clear that by the manager," and he goes in the back room and they say, "So who's winning?"
Exactly.
Oh, up by 2. Oh, good
Exactly.
deal. Eh?
Okay, we got to move on to Super Bowl talk. I hate to do this, but it'll be at least the ancillary stuff.
Can we say that? Can we say that?
What
do we have to say? Big game.
Oh, the big game. Yes, right. I remember interviewing Jimmy Johnson once about something that he was promoting for the big game, and he kept calling it the big game, and I kept calling it the Super Bowl. But I guess as long as he did it, he didn't call it the Super Bowl.
I'm surprised that the NFL hasn't claimed trademark rights on the big game.
Sure. The big game as well.
We know what you're talking about. So
yeah.
Nope, we own the big game rights to the big game too.
So I don't know what your view is on, Bad Bunny performing at the Super Bowl, but I got to say, even if I don't like Bad Bunny, how soon we forget the blessing of Shakira and J-Lo. All right. So I'm happy with that. I can live off the good vibes. Do you remember Shakira and J-Lo at the Super Bowl? You don't recall. There's a moment there where they, in tandem, they're standing next to each other and they turn their backs to the cameras. Millions of people around the world, and you see the greatest duet of derrieres shaking. Well, we're showing a picture right now, but even that is
in motion.
Yeah, it's okay.
It was in motion.
It was a beautiful, beautiful thing, and I'm willing to live with Kendrick Lamar, whom I didn't understand last year, and Bad Bunny, who's probably a commie this year. Roger Goodell, the commissioner, defended the choice. A little more Shakira and J-Lo. By the way, I think somebody was saying something. J-Lo was older than LBJ was when he took the oath of office in Air Force One, which is a little sobering.
You remember who was performing the year that I don't know whether it's MIA or Mia flipped off the camera? Do you remember that?
It's MIA.
MIA. That's how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember that? And she the Super Bowl they sued her for that.
Oh,
So I don't know how much Bad Bunny is going to be able to get away with.
well, I mean, Chris, do you have any idea what I just heard that he's a commie and he's incomprehensible and I don't like that music anyway.
Oh, it's going to be in Spanish,
right?
He sings in Spanish and
He
raps.
said you don't have to understand any of it in order to enjoy it.
Well,
doesn't he use a big band?
Will they subtitle it in English?
Mm-hmm.
Will they? Yeah, but will it be accurate? I mean, that's the thing. I mean, he can pretty much say anything, and they can put the subtitle to the lyrics of the song. That has to be done in advance, right?
Well, the whole thing is recorded. Remember, they don't actually play live. The Red Hot Chili Peppers came out; none of their instruments were plugged in. They took all that crap, and they're like, "Well, we're just playing along to this thing's recorded already."
Yeah, maybe.
What was the song that got the Stones banned from the Ed Sullivan Show? Did they say "Pregnant" in Satisfaction? I can't remember. They said something.
I thought it was the Doors, and he said,
"It was the Doors."
Light My Fire. It was.
Yeah, it was the Doors.
Higher.
Yeah.
So no. It was Spend Some Time Together was the Stones.
That's the Stones. I think maybe the Stones and the Doors.
They wanted. Yeah, Sullivan said, "You can't say night, just say time."
Look, I'm just glad the Conrad Birdie number made it in Bye Bye Birdie. That's all. Because they gave speed to the director conductor of the Russian orchestra. Let's go on. Roger Goodell, defended Bad Bunny, and I was just thinking somebody should just have asked him at the press conference, "Are you familiar with any of his songs?" I can't believe that he would know any of it.
Can you name one song?
Can you name one? Can you quote a lyric? Can you count to 10 in Spanish? I mean, whatever. Unos, dos, tres, woolly bully. Hey, Catherine O'Hara died. Found out that she and I had something in common. We both did James Mason imitations as kids. She would imitate James Mason. I did too. Yes. Wow. Brutus had rather be a villager than repute himself a son of Rome. Yeah, everybody did a James Mason when they were a kid, and she did too. Catherine O'Hara. Did you like Catherine O'Hara?
I did not do a James Mason impression when I was a kid.
Oh, well, that's probably why you didn't soar to the heights that I did. Did you like Catherine O'Hara?
Hot and cold.
Yeah,
I liked her in that last series. That I don't know if we could say.
Schitt's Creek. Schitt's Creek.
I guess we did.
She was good. I got to tell you, but
you got to make sure you pronounce the C. I've noticed that.
Yeah, the C is understood. But this is the thing I love about Twitter. You're watching one clip, and then they lead into these other clips that you don't want to know what's coming in. So sometimes they're pleasant surprises. And I got to tell you, who eclipsed Catherine O'Hara, in my opinion? Martin Short was on SCTV back in the day, when she was on it as well. He's on this parody of a commercial for Tang where he is Robin Williams. Okay. And he's doing Robin Williams better than Robin Williams could do it. And it's just, and he's throwing in a little Ed Grimley, his own character there, but it's a wonderful parody, and I can't do it any justice. I can't imitate it, imitating Robin Williams. But I got to say, it was better than anything I remember from Catherine O'Hara. What?
It was a Tang commercial?
It was, yes. It was
the orange drink?
The orange drink.
That the astronauts drank.
The astronauts drink.
And some of our younger listeners probably have no idea what we're talking about there. That's how old SCTV is.
You mean younger listeners like Joe Rogan, who doesn't believe that we landed on the moon and thought there were a billion. Recently, he said he thought there were a billion Jews in the world. A billion.
Huh.
And of course, I think most people, since there isn't math on so many tests nowadays, couldn't tell you the difference between 15 million 15 million and a billion anyway. But anyway, I did enjoy.
There was a Simpsons.
Short.
One of my favorite Simpsons jokes was they sent Homer into space, and when he got up there, he was really upset to learn that they don't actually have Tang in space. So he, when the president came on the line to congratulate him, it was Bill Clinton at the time. He said, "Mr. President, I think if anyone knows where to find Tang, it would be you."
Oh God! And by the way, that's a great Homer Simpson.
Thank you.
So, I mean, you didn't do the James Mason.
No.
But you're from a different impersonation tree. What other voices do you do? What other ones do you do, Tim? That's a good Homer.
I was doing Clinton for a while. It's
yeah.
I feel your pain.
Yeah.
Do that pretty good.
You know, everybody does a Trump. I can't even
I can't
do it either.
No.
Yeah, it's difficult. Well, all right, you got Homer and okay, the Millennium movie.
here's another one. Schultz.
Very good.
That one. There's another one. Our younger listeners are going to have no idea.
Yeah, no, I got
but
it.
if you were old enough to remember President Eisenhower, you know that was dead on.
There you go. Wonderful. So the Millennium movie. Okay, do we decide whether it was a success or not? It did better than any documentary did. Did it do better than the mockumentary Spinal Tap? And how much money? I mean, Jeff Bezos. Remember again. Spending a lot of money when that could be going towards, sports writers,
sure,
and creating
and movie critics.
Yeah.
that would have trashed the movie. So rather than paying for the movie,
if I were Jeff Bezos, because everybody's saying what he should do with his money, I'd give a lot of money to the poor, and with the rest of it, I would create the best package delivery service in the history of mankind that would be so convenient for humanity that we'd all be singing his praises forever. I mean, God should be grateful to Jeff Bezos. The prayers should be delivered by Amazon to God. That's how great Jeff Bezos is.
He has humiliated the post office like Elon humiliated NASA.
There you go. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle, and James Mason, and Bill Clinton, and Homer Simpson on the Weekly Wrap.
And that's the Weekly Wrap on radio and television. Follow Bruce at Bruce Wolf Shy on Twitter and Tim at timslagle.com. The Weekly Wrap with Bruce Wolf, a CP Pods production.